the moment, if you look at the industry, especially the gold mines, the resources, it's depleting. We have reached a point wherein we have depleted our resources, so the mining companies are trying to mine what is left. So there is a lot of shafts that are closing. There's a lot of shafts that are already closed, and there's interesting developments in terms of other shafts that are trying to mine their shaft pillars. So for shaft sinkers, it's interesting because if you look, the mines are not sinking more shafts, but they are looking into rehabilitation so that they can access what is left of the resources. Mining needs to do the shaft audits. That means to start from the headgear throughout to the winder, to the shaft barrel, and also to their underground workings on the levels. And then they need to do the audit so that they can improve the findings that they come across. And while doing the audit, they also need to engage with specialists like ourselves, UMS Group, so that we can advise, because we have the skills, we designed those shafts, so we are able to know where the improvements must be done. And then in terms of the improvements, if you look at the shaft, there's a lot of old shafts in South Africa, also outside South Africa, that needs to go through shaft rehab so that mining can improve and be able to access the shaft barrel mining and be able to access the other old workings that they couldn't be able to access. And by rehabilitation, rehabilitating the shaft, it will also assist the mining in terms of safety, in terms of access, in terms of when there's accidents, you are able to know that your infrastructure is ready in terms of rescuing. In terms of the Mine Health and Safety Act, there is specific times when the shaft is supposed to be audited. All the miners, they are supposed to know this. There's daily audits, there's weekly audits, monthly, quarterly, and also yearly audits. In terms of, if you look at yearly audits, you're looking at major components around your shaft. So in terms of auditing, you need to look at your winder, the mechanical side of your winder, the electrical side of your winder. And then if you look at the shaft headgear, you also need to look at your safety devices and all the other structural components on the shaft headgear. As you proceed down your shaft barrel, you also need to look at your steel infrastructure. You need to look at if your buntons and your dividers are still intact. You also need to look at your cage attachments, and also your landings, and to ensure that your services, when they were installed, they are still in good conditions, they are maintained in good conditions. And when you are doing that, then you can be able to draft a proper procedure on how you want to fix. So the audits are very, very significant because they are linked to safety and also to production. If you look at mining, we tend to be very complacent, and if you look, you are under pressure for production. So sometimes it turns out on the mining house companies to be sidelined. So it's important to have an independent person from outside who will put all their dedication if they get a slot from the mining to do so, because they won't only look at the daily operation, but they will look at the requirements be either by the designer, be either by the mine health and safety, and also they will also be able to look at how to increase the productivity and how to make sure that the infrastructure can be able to obtain its efficiency, which a normal operating day-to-day mining will be able to miss.